If you think becoming a better person means waking up at 5 in the morning, drinking more water, reading dozens of books, and completely transforming your life all at once, you're not entirely wrong. But you're missing something. You're not trying to build a new person. You're learning to see yourself differently. Every morning, the list is waiting for you. Exercise, read, meditate, be productive, be more patient, be more disciplined, be more successful. And when you fail to do even one of those things, you feel like you're falling behind. That's where everything begins to change. You stop chasing perfection. Because becoming a better person doesn't mean you never get angry, never feel lazy, or never choose unhealthy food. You're still going to do all of those things. The difference is now you can see the direction you're moving in. Today, maybe you're just a little more patient than you were yesterday. Maybe you held back one harsh comment. Maybe you chose to listen. Small, almost invisible. But big changes often begin with something that doesn't even feel like an achievement. One small choice, then another. If you think being a good person means always knowing what's right, you can easily fall into one habit, judging too quickly. Your brain works like a sorting machine. During a conversation, someone interrupts you. Within seconds, a label appears: rude, disrespectful, annoying. But pause for a moment. What if you asked yourself what might be happening in their life that made them act this way? That question doesn't excuse their behavior, but it gives you some distance from your anger. You're no longer just the judge, you become the investigator. And the next change happens when someone starts talking to you. Usually you're not really listening, you're waiting for your turn. In your head, you've already prepared a response, some advice, or even a story you want to tell when they're finished. Now try something simple. Listen until they're done. Then repeat the essence of what they said before giving your own opinion, not to appear wise, not to win the conversation, but so that person knows that for those few minutes their thoughts genuinely have a place with you. At this point, you may begin to realize something. Becoming a better person doesn't actually require doing more. It requires paying better attention. And for the first time, the change begins to show not in what you do for yourself, but in how your presence feels to other people. If you think the biggest changes come from one major decision, you're missing the hardest part. Change usually happens quietly. First, you make a mistake. You hurt someone with something you said. Your first instinct might be to defend yourself. I didn't mean it that way. But impact doesn't always follow intention, so you learn to apologize, not, "I'm sorry if you were offended." You say what you actually did. You acknowledge the impact. Then you explain what you're going to change. Small, but uncomfortable. Then another problem appears. You realize you're not always right, and that can be even harder to accept. For years, you may have seen being wrong as a weakness. Now you're learning to see it as an opportunity to update the way you think. I've never looked at it that way before. A simple sentence. But to say it, your ego has to step aside first. Then you begin facing quieter tests. No one is watching. There's no camera, no praise. You find a shopping cart abandoned in the middle of a parking lot. You could simply walk past it. No one would call you out. But you return it. You see a small piece of trash on the ground. You pick it up. Someone treats you kindly. You give a little more than what's required. Not for a post, not for your reputation, simply because you want your actions to match the person you're trying to become. Then comes the final adjustment. You fail again. You judge someone. You lose your patience. You say something you shouldn't have said. Suddenly, all your progress feels meaningless, and this is where you have a choice. Go back to punishing yourself for not being perfect, or acknowledge the failure, make it right, and try again. And this is where the real stakes are. Not in whether you can become perfect, but whether, after seeing the worst parts of yourself, you still choose to become a little better, day by day, choice by choice. Until kindness is no longer something you need to prove, it becomes something you do, even when no one is watching. If you think the journey of becoming a better person ends when you finally discover the best version of yourself, that's exactly where you're wrong. There is no finish line. You will still get angry. You will still make mistakes. You will still make decisions you regret. But one day someone may remember you not for all those mistakes. History may remember you for what you left behind. The people who knew you will remember how you made them feel. Some will remember your achievements, others will remember the small things, the moments when you listened, apologized, admitted you were wrong, or did something kind without expecting anyone to notice. And maybe in the end, the measure of your life isn't how perfectly you became. It's the direction you kept choosing to move toward. Because you don't have to become a perfect human being. You only have to keep choosing a better direction. Not perfect, just better.